Okay. Yeah, this is on. Great. So I'm sure you have some questions for our panelists. Please don't hesitate. Microphones will come to you.
I may have missed this, but when your family went into hiding the second time, did you explain why?
Did I do what?
Could you explain why they went into hiding in the 60s?
No, I didn't explain it because I was going to talk about women. And it was mostly my father who had to leave Amsterdam. He couldn't live with the ghosts. He could not live without the people. And I'm only finding out now how large our family was. I have to say, I recognized our story in a book by Bruce J. Friedman, Stern, about a Jewish family from New York that moves to upstate New York. When I read it, I thought, wow, he makes it seem funny. But then he was American, and he was not a Holocaust survivor. I mean, the character in the book.
Where was the plateau in France where all the people were being hidden? Where in France was that?
It's in the south central part of France. It's unable to be found by normal human beings. The Protestants were hiding there for centuries. I mentioned that in 1940 there were 40 million French people and 800,000 Protestants. In 1560 there were 16 million French people and 1 million Protestants. They had a terrible 300 years of religious persecution, and they left the country. They came to Canada, they went to Germany, they went to Switzerland, and if they couldn't leave the country, they went to these godforsaken places like Le Chambon. And it's near Le Puy. I can't think of it exactly now. If you draw a triangle between Saint-Étienne, Le Puy, and Valence, in the middle of that triangle, you will see Le Chambon-sur-Lignon.
And were these Protestants and Calvinists? Because I remember hearing about Calvinists in France. Were those the Protestants you're talking about?
Yes, they were members of the... In 1940, Le Chambon had 2,500 people living in it, and 95% of them were Protestant. 1,500 of them went to the church of André Trocmé, the Reformed Church of France, and there was 1,000 of them were Darbistes, the followers of John Darby, and they were fundamentalist Christians who kept the fun in fundamentalism, and they just read the scriptures and never went to church. They just read the scriptures and lived their life, and accordingly. They were not churchgoers, but they were fundamentalist Protestants. And one of them is interviewed in Pierre Sauvage's movie, Madame Brotte, and she explains herself in that way, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You're very welcome.
Going. All right, well, I think everybody's pretty exhausted, but we have one more big thing to do after the dinner. So anyone who already signed up for a dinner, you know that it's down in the Scandinavian Cultural Center. So take your time, but make your way down there. And we will be there till about 6:45. For other folks who hadn't pre-registered for the dinner, there are plenty of options on campus, and in your folder you'll find recommendations of places where you can get food. And then we'd like everyone to come back at 7 o'clock this evening for our keynote address by Robert Jan van Pelt. Thank you very much. I think we're going to be in the Regency room for that. Yep. Thank you.